Frida and Diego. Frida Kahlo was born in Mexico on July 6, 1907. She had 3 sisters and lived in a blue house. When she was 5, she suffered from polio. She lived, but one of her legs was left shorter and weaker than the other. Her father was a photographer and always had a deep relationship with Frida. He would speak to her about ancient art in Mexico, its architecture, and taught her how to use a camera. All this was a base for the art that she would create in the future. Frida was raised during the Mexican Revolution, which influenced not only her life but her art. At 18 years old, on September 17, 1925, Frida had a terrible accident. The bus she was on collided with a trolley car. She suffered serious injuries as a result of the accident, including a broken spinal column, a broken collarbone, broken ribs, a broken pelvis, 11 fractures in her right leg, a crushed and dislocated right foot, and the dislocated shoulder. In addition, an iron handrail pierced her abdomen and her uterus, compromising her reproductive capacity. The accident left her bedridden for several months. It was then that she started to paint. She painted portraits of her family and friends, but above all, painted herself surrounded by the things that were important to her and the things which caused her pain. Frida painted her feelings, emotions, and pain through the color red and traditional figures from her country and religious images from popular Mexican art. As a young artist, Kahlo communicated with the Mexican painter Diego Rivera, whose work she admired, asking him for advice about pursuing art as a career. He recognized her talent and encouraged her artistic development. They began an intimate relationship and were married in 1929, despite the fact that Diego was 20 years older than Frida. Diego Rivera was born on December 8, 1886 in Guanajuato, Mexico. He had a twin brother who died at a young age. As a child, Diego showed artistic talent and he was sent at age 10 to study in Mexico City. In 1907, Rivera traveled to Europe to continue his education. He made friends with famous artists such as Pablo Picasso and got to see the artwork of notable artists like Henri Matisse and Paul Gauguin. Diego returned to his homeland in 1921 and started creating murals for the Mexican government. It was during this time that Diego became involved with the Communist Party and his art began to reflect his personal beliefs. Diego traveled to Russia in the 1920s to commemorate the revolution and to continue his art, but he was expelled from the country for being anti-Soviet. He returned to Mexico and continued doing projects in Mexico and the United States. Diego wanted to create artwork that depicted aspects of Mexican society. Diego developed his own style with large, simple figures and bright colors that showed an Aztec influence. He also tells stories through his art similar to the Mayan tradition. Some of his artwork was considered very controversial. In fact, a mural he created for the RCA building in New York City, entitled Man at the Crossroads, was removed and destroyed by the Rockefellers due to its communist themes. Diego later recreated this work, and it is displayed in Mexico City. Today, Rivera's art is displayed in locations across Mexico and the United States. Diego had a difficult personal life. He was married 5 different times to 4 women, including his 2 marriages to Frida Kahlo. His extramarital affairs strained his relationships with his wives. Rivera passed away on November 24, 1957, at the age of 70. Frida and Diego's marriages were tumultuous and difficult. They married in 1929 to the dismay of Frida's parents. Although they divorced in 1940, they remarried later that year. Frida and Diego's relationship was strained due to her inability to have children. She suffered multiple miscarriages due to her previous injuries. Despite their struggles, Frida and Diego created great works of art that are still highly influential today.